Are there any questions?
Stuart, this is Sarah. I've noticed that since the last retreat that some of my behaviors have changed in relationship to significant people in my life. It's as if certain things are just no longer organic to allow. However, it's also eliciting a lot of emotion in myself that this change is occurring. And I just wondered if you could speak to the normalcy of that or in any way address that.
Uh, Address the fact that the relationships you have with people that you are changing.
And that it it it's eliciting a lot of internal emotion, the changes. Happy for the changes, but still a lot of internal stuff going on.
Well, you know, Sarah dear, you know, you're letting go. You're letting go of certain behavior and ways that you used to interact with other people. That will create emotions because you've been attached to these people in one way or another. And I don't know who these people are, but they, there's been some kind of relationship there, attachment there, and it's changing inside you. And the emotions you're feeling is just you having to let go. You have to let go. It doesn't mean you stop loving them. It doesn't mean you turn your back on them. It just means you're detaching yourself from that which used to drain you of your energy. And somehow we get used to being drained of our energy and we hold on to it because we think that's the way we can keep a relationship. Well, it's not necessary. You understand? You can let go. You can still keep the relationship. And probably if the people are really close to you, then you can love them even deeper because you're no longer feeling your energy being drained out of you. But in doing that, there's going to be emotions, there's going to be change, there's going to be difficulties, readjusting yourself to a new way of functioning. It's not always easy. In fact, it's never easy. So look, when I say detached, when I say that, I don't mean we stop functioning. I don't mean we go live in a desert somewhere with nobody around us. And what I mean is we get really grounded inside, centered and strong in ourselves to where we can still interact with people. At the same time, we have the inner strength to not allow people to drain our energy out of us. We lose that, we get rid of that emotional kind of attachment, which something in our brain thinks that, well, the only way we can live with these people is by keep feeding them and feeding them. And understand, and somewhere the umbilical cord has to get cut. But it doesn't mean you stop loving the person. It doesn't mean you don't, you just relate to them in a different way. You relate to them in a way where, you have this grounding inside, this strength where they can't drag out your energy and rip you apart, you know? And if they can't do it and they're conscious that they can't do it, they'll stop trying. I mean it. They'll find somebody else they can do it to, or they will change. and they will learn the true meaning of love, the true meaning of friendship, the true meaning of being connected to another human being, and never take anybody for granted, but just love them and let them be. I think one of the greatest things I've learned in my life is I don't ever want to determine how anyone else should live. I mean, this has been such an important element in my life, not determine. I mean, I have it with my own daughter, the stuff she does and what she's involved with, and I just got to the point where she'll learn. Doesn't mean I love her any less. I do love her very much, but I'm not going to sit there and lecture her on the right way to live. Saves me a lot of energy, and it stops arguments and fights and don't tell me and I can do my way and blah, 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 and all this other stuff. So I think this is really important what you asked, because I think we all go through it. We all have these situations. And the only way I found to be able to deal with them is I just have to get really grounded in myself and never have expectations that anybody I know should have a spiritual life. Anybody I know should live the way I live. Just love them the way they are and give them room to find themselves and find their path through life.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I think everyone, you have children, and my God. I will still relate. You don't relate by yakking away and blah, blah, blahing and lecturing people on the right way, by just letting them be, loving them for who and what they are, not for what we want them to be. And sometimes it means we have to love things we don't really even like. But what are you going to do? Spend your life hitting people over the head. Do it this way. No. I hope it's clear, because it's not easy, because we are attached, especially to family. We get very attached, and you develop a little consciousness and have a spiritual life, and you begin to see more consciously how other people live. And it's not easy when look, I know, what do I know? Anyway, if the practice of this, what I teach, I know people that are going through hell. If they would spend 6 months doing this, it would completely transform their life. I mentioned it to them once or twice. It bounced off of them. They didn't. And I said, okay, someday they might be ready, or someday they might find another way to do it. And it's not easy, and it's painful to see people go through intense difficulties in their life, problems that can be fixed if they would just learn how to do it. And especially if it's people you're close to and people you love. And hey, learn how to breathe properly, learn how to focus your mind, learn how to take in Shakti. All of this can get fixed in 3 months. But then, are these people ready to do it? That's the question. And the answer is when they're ready, they'll beat the door down to get to do it. And the best way to interrelate with them is just love them unconditionally and don't try to make them do what you think they're supposed to do in order to have a spiritual life. Does anyone else have a question? I learned something about it. To be conscious and live consciously in this world, you're not here to judge anybody else and the way they live. Because who knows better? Who knows if in some past lifetime we weren't criminals, we weren't terrorists. Probably were. You got to go through the whole spectrum of life in order to finally get free of it. If we weren't this, we weren't that. I mean, I've learned it in my own life. In my own life, I have lived everywhere from the streets to palaces. I mean this in my life. And I've known all kinds of people, from derelict people on the streets to people, billionaires who used to be clients of mine and kind of quasi friends. I can't judge anybody because you never know what somebody will happen in somebody's karma. Who would have projected that this would have happened in my karma? The only one was Rudy. He took a look at me and he saw the potential and he fed it. I see the potential in all of you. I'm trying to feed it. And I never ask people about their past. I'm not interested. I used to teach in prisons. And one of the first things I used to tell the inmates there, I said, I am absolutely unconcerned about what you did in the past. All I'm concerned about is what you are doing in the present to grow and to change. What you did in the past, we all make mistakes. We all blow it. We all get into trouble one way or another. I said, it's what you're doing now that really is what I am focused on and what I will nurture. And boy, I mean, they never heard anything like that. It was amazing. People used to leave those classes glowing, glowing. And it's the same way here. I don't know much about anybody in this group's past. I really don't. I don't ever ask questions like that. I'm not interested in what you did 20 years ago. I'm only interested in what people are doing now, in the present, to grow and to change. Because the rest of it it's already done. It's already happened. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? Okay, if there are no more questions, then there'll be meditation on Thursday. And as I've been announcing for the last week or so, that come Sunday, I need a 3-4 day rest. I really do. So I'm going to take kind of not that I'm going anywhere. I'm not. I just need a rest. So I'm going to take Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and not spend hours looking into computers and all your beautiful faces. I mean, really, this is not so bad looking into the computer. So God bless you all. Thank you. And there'll be meditation on Thursday. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody.
Thank you very much, Stuart.
Thank you, Stuart.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great day, evening.